when I'm playing and I have kind of, I guess, free reign, I'm listening to music usually as I'm playing. But then my wife wants to play Fortnite, and it's like everything has to be silent because you have to hear the footsteps and all this stuff. And Fortnite is one game where you really do need to listen because if you don't hear, you're not going to. I mean, all of a sudden you're going to get shot and be like, well, what the hell?
Yeah, but I mean, would you say that with Call of Duty?
No, not as much.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've only played Fortnite a couple
I mean, some people
times.
would argue with me for sure, but you can play. I could play Call of Duty with no sound at all.
Yeah, that's
Fortnite,
how I
you
usually
can't
play.
do that.
Really?
Because the whole game is set up to where you actually hear enemies and whatnot.
Oh, that's really annoying.
And it's a huge map, so that they could attack you from any direction.
What a bigot game.
I know.
Creating a game that deaf people can't play. It's bullshit.
It is bullshit.
No, the part I was referring to, though, from your weekend was sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
My fucking... And look, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to stop complaining about my family, so to speak. But my wife has the inability to sleep in. So, Saturday I woke up earlier than I would like to.
Like 11.
Sunday, earlier. Fucking earlier. And Sunday was really bad. And so, they were gone. She was trying to get my kid away because he sleeps in too. Mm-hmm. And so she was just moving around and doing shit. So every 30 minutes I was waking up. Finally I got up at 10 and and they were leaving. I thought, well, all right, I'll get up for a little while. I'll take a nap. Surely I'll take a nap. I even rented a couple movies because I thought I'll watch a movie and I'll fall asleep. Whatever. Yeah. Never happened. Never did.
Oh man, that's all I did this week. But like I said, I was sick too.
You're
I was
a master of taking naps, though.
I'm good at it, but my wife is the master. It's the weirdest thing. We had this conversation the other day, and I can fall asleep within 10 minutes of laying down at night. I'm just out.
I hate you so much.
Now to stay asleep, I struggle sometimes, but to fall asleep, it takes nothing. My wife is the total opposite. She cannot, it takes her at least an hour just to fall asleep. But the thing is, nap times, she's out within 2 minutes of hitting the bed. No joke. And me, I'm the other way around where it takes me a half an hour to an hour to fall asleep. I don't understand it. She doesn't understand it, but it's the weirdest thing.
That is really weird.
Mm-hmm.
I can't, it doesn't matter if it's a nap or sleep or whatever. It takes me forever to fall asleep.
Really?
Most of the time. But the thing that gets me is when we're watching something on TV and I'm on the couch, especially after we do the show, and I'm done at 7 or whatever and I'm sitting there. I'll just wake up and it's been a half an hour. I even realize I fell asleep.
Yeah.
But if I'm purposely trying, no, I can't.
That's one of the best ways though to doze off.
I don't know. My thing is I wake up panicked.
Yeah.
And I hate that. That feeling of holy shit, what. And then
that's
you're
why you
looking around.
You kind of have to prep yourself. Lay down, and, maybe grab a blanket and a pillow. And if you
at that point, that's what you're doing,
asleep,
though. What else are you doing? What grown man has a blanket and a pillow hanging out on the couch?
Go get the one from your bed.
I'm just saying, you're planning that.
You half-ass plan it. It's if it happens, it happens. If not, I'm really comfortable.
I guess
watching my movie or whatever.
Shitty show.
Yeah.
Jingle Lucifer. Goddamn hate that show. Anyway, so I got a couple things I wanted to bring up.
Good,
like I mentioned, it's going to be a short show. We warned you guys on Monday or on Friday that Cody was going to be out, and yeah, it was kind of a bitch to make this happen. So enjoy the hour, I guess.
Yeah.
But I was looking at something, and this is reported on Vice, and then I went to the ACLU site, and they had this tagline, and it said, "Gotcha." And looked further down the story, and it was about this white guy who worked at McDonald's. Mm-hmm. And apparently on Facebook, he used the N-word. And McDonald's fired him. Looking further into the story, he wasn't on the clock, he wasn't at work when he did it. And it looked like somebody reported him to the ACLU, who then reported it to McDonald's. Mm-hmm. What's your take on it? Do you think should we do that? Should that be okay?
I think, like, I know with some, I don't want to say, whatever. The more professional jobs, you have character clauses.
Right.
So, and that's for that reason right there. So you can do, so you can't do that or get in fights or whatever it may be. At McDonald's?
But this is McDonald's. Yeah.
I know, that's what, I don't know, man. I'm kind of torn both sides. I mean, I obviously understand why corporate would do that, especially if ACLU is blowing you up. But the other point is, like, you're doing it to make a point. That's really what it is, and to save face.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's an idiot, obviously.
By the way, if anyone has any opinion on this, give us a call at 316-778-0529.
But it's tough. Like, I think if I was the person that had to fire him or whatnot, I wouldn't feel bad.
Really?
No.
I have a problem with that.
But, okay, see, but I come from, and I know this is a little different, but I've just had so many experiences with staff that I work with either complaining about the kids they work with or anything like that on Facebook, or, I mean,
but
I've
I
had
get
it even
that
where they put
because
their names
that has
and stuff,
to do
and it's like,
with what they're doing.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm kind of biased.
Like I get that, but I don't understand using, inappropriate language on social media and getting fired for that, even if it's a racist comments.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard, minors getting fired for drinking under the age and having pictures of that on Facebook, and
it's illegal.
Yeah, and saying that
And I
it's
get
not
that.
really illegal.
It's not, and
But
that's part of my issue is just like that. Like, are we? And look, don't get me wrong. I am in no way a racist.
Yeah.
I don't even use those words.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I'm the undercover Mexican who likes to. But can we not choose what we want to be in this country anymore? Like, if you own a fish shop, and you're a racist, do we have to take that away? Is that where we're at now? Like, we have to take all that away? Because my point, one of my biggest points is that's why Donald Trump won.
Yeah.
Because people aren't able to just express how they feel. And in a way, isn't it better to know? Because, like, I'm not going to go to that fish shop.
Yeah.
I'll go to the other guy.
Yeah. Well, and I know legally, obviously, I think this guy would probably win a lawsuit against McDonald's.
Oh, 100%.
But...
And I'm not even done with the story, is the other thing.
Yeah. Well, tell some more.
It kind of... And this is why I'm against it. Because what I gave you was the same information, apparently, that McDonald's had when they fired him.
Okay.
And that's why I was asking you at that point, what would you do? Would you think it's okay? Well, further on in, we find out what was a conversation that he was having with one of his black friends, and he used the A instead of the hard R.
Mm-hmm.
It was not used in hate. And, he's still fired.
Yeah.
And my argument to that, too, is this. Well, so are they going to fire every black person?
Yeah.
That uses that same word? Well, no, we can't do that. That's my issue, is like, especially, it's not even content, honestly, because what it is it's our freedoms versus corporate overreach.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm at. And I feel like, especially if you work in some shit job where you're making minimum wage, maybe even up to $10, whatever they make. But it is a shitty job. I worked a lot. I used to sort trash, and I still would not work fast food. Like, it's just shit.
Mm-hmm.
But the corporations are now, they get to say, hey, not only do we own you when you're in these four walls, we own you outside of here, too.
Mm-hmm.
Because if not, we're going to take it all away from you.
I mean, I guess...
If you don't do what we want you to, if you don't keep up this attitude, and like this...
We got a call.
Do we? Because I don't hear anything.
It says incoming voice call. Answer call.
Nice, because I hear nothing.
Hello.
Oh, Well, somebody was messing with the wires, and can you plug it in? Yeah, we're here. Give us 1 second. All right, we good? Huh?
Audio jack or mic jack?
Audio.
It's in the audio.
Or mic. Sorry, mic. My bad. Not something I'm, again, never taken. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Well, you'd asked for other people's opinions. I think that if the worker, it was nothing to do with the job, that's his own personal freedom of speech.
Yeah, that's my take as well. I couldn't agree with you more.
I mean, even though he's, just like you said, the conversation, he wasn't saying the hard R, and he was talking to what happened to be an African American friend of his. That's,
And what do you think without that information?
pardon?
What do you think without that information when Jade introduced the story in the first place? Do you still hold true that he shouldn't have been fired?
Well, if it had nothing to do with McDonald's, then it has nothing to do with McDonald's. I mean, I personally have a social media clause at my work, but as long as I don't engage with anybody about my work that has nothing to do with my work, they can't do anything.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's my whole thing too. I don't think because we're fighting this war against what these corporations are allowed to do to us. And I mean, it's bad enough that they don't pay us enough, they don't give us benefits or shitty benefits. And and that's what we're stuck with. But hey, thanks a lot for the call, man. We appreciate you.
Oh, yeah.
Have
So
a good-
listen, you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, brother.
Thanks.
Take care, man.
But
Yeah, no, and that's what we're kind of stuck with is they're going to dress it up in this, package of, oh, no, it's this guy being a racist, and that's what we're fighting is racism. But no, it's not. It's really not in that situation.
Yeah.
If he went through, I don't know, a random store and was just like yelling the word,
Yeah.
and he got his ass kicked, completely different.
Yeah, exactly.
Completely different. But
No,
yeah.
I mean, I think, when you first told me that story, like I of course understood, why. Knowing the more of it, there obviously should have been an investigation of some sort before they just fired him. So, I mean, in my opinion, they fired him because ACLU was on their ass. And, I mean, you do. I mean, you get rid of one employee, at McDonald's, or you have the whole ACLU pissed off at a corporation. It's not right, obviously.
And that's part of the issue too, I find, like with the social justice warriors
Mm-hmm.
and this whole group of like gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give a shit. I mean, this guy, I'm sure, is just noted as a racist.
Oh, yeah.
No one's going back on it and saying, oh wait, you know what, actually we fucked up. No.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's no difference in that and a lot of other things, like even the thing that is getting me to think of is like, people that say somebody raped somebody and that never happened.
That's a problem too.
Or, sex offender registry. That thing is completely screwed up. And like, one person could pee in public and it'd be, on the sex offender registry. Yeah. But honestly, their social life and their occupation and stuff like that, when you have to register and anybody finds out, I mean, your life's kind of ruined in that sense. You're labeled as that, just like this guy is labeled as a racist now. You know, and I mean, of course, that's not right, especially when he was even, and that's where I guess it gets down. Even if it wasn't just a conversation with one of his friends that happens to be black. Even if it was a different context, even if he used the R, is it right for McDonald's to be able to fire him? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Do I understand why they did?
It's a hard stance, too.
Yeah.
I mean, but, the other thing I was thinking about, too, was, okay, let's assume this guy is a racist. How do you create a terrorist? How do you create somebody just vengeful? You take away everything they have.
Yeah,
and that would be the way to do it,
Mm-hmm.
is to, hey, his girl left him. You know, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Fucking racist. I'm not going to be with you. He lost that. He can't pay for, his shitty Toyota, Festiva. He can't, afford
Stereotyping 101.
I'm just saying, he can't afford his shitty apartment.
Toyota Festiva, everybody.
I don't-
Toyota
I don't even-
Festiva. Cody, please be listening right now.
Shut up. But he loses all that,
Yeah.
which to him was his fucking world,
Yeah.
and what do? I think you just sit there and you get angry and you feel like,
get
okay,
resentful.
now you
Yeah,
have
for
this
sure.
weird complex too, where you think like everyone's watching you.
Yeah.
You can't do anything without, Big Brother.
Mm-hmm.
And in reality, it's probably just some fucking social justice troll that
Probably.
got into a fight with him or something like that ended up sparking this huge thing in this person's life. Again, I'm not the kind of person who would do it. I mean, because I'm too lazy and I don't hold enough on, whatever. I have a lot of fuck it in me, a whole lot of fuck it.
Yeah, I got a lot of that too.
But if you don't, that's maybe where you would see some hate crimes come out that, I don't know. I just say, like, I don't agree with it, and I wouldn't support these people, but I think you should be able to be racist in this country. I know, it's a very hard thing to grab your mind around. But I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't go to a racist store. I wouldn't be friends with a racist. But I also don't think we should be able to take away that freedom of speech.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with the freedom of speech part. I don't think it's okay to be racist, which I'm not saying that you do, but
I mean, in a way, I kind of am. But like, I don't know, because you,
like, it sounds like you obviously wouldn't want somebody to act on racism.
Of course not.
Like,
no
violence
No.
because of racism.
Not at all.
But what you're saying is, as far as freedom of speech, a racist should be able to talk freely.
Yeah, and it's because I hold the First Amendment so important, and our freedom of speech really is, I think, our main defense.
Sure.
And when we lose that,
So at what point? At what point does it become like, influential to people? Is there a problem with that? As in, like, not like what happened with Charles Manson, or what happened to any kind of public figure that's, got a negative influence or a negative connotation.
that's a good question, and I think, and I'm one of those too who. It's a hard push for me. It really is. But I kind of don't think Manson should be in prison.
Okay.
Be it that he just told some people to do some stuff. And I understand, because there's some people who come back on with that argument, well, so what, Hitler wasn't a bad guy because he just told some... Yeah, but that really is vastly different. And that, he was killing people. And I'm not saying that Charles Manson shouldn't have been killed. Somebody want to kill him, that's fine. If Sharon,
That's fine.
if,
Somebody wants to kill him.
Sharon Tate's family or something like they come back and kill him, all right.
Yeah.
But
Karma's a bitch.
what, but I don't know. As far as the justice system is concerned, I don't know. Because then we also have people like the televangelists, the people like that who say, don't worry about, you got a lump on your liver, don't worry about it. You know what you need to do? Send us some money. God will fucking heal you and you'll be good.
Yeah.
That person.
Yeah.
To me, that's worse, and that happens way more than a Charles Manson type. But we don't do anything about that. In fact, we just let them get rich. So I don't know. And, as far as the whole thing with the being racist, it does kind of bring on, answer or get to a question that needs to be answered. Is it's not a social norm. It's not something that we are cool with. But with the opportunity, would that be something? Is that okay to change that about somebody? Is that something okay to have an intervention about? I don't know.
I don't know either. One of my code of ethics that I follow, as a social worker, is that we're supposed to help, disenfranchised people, vulnerable populations, and stuff like that. And if you look at it, you could almost argue, so am I supposed to take care of racists? Like,
Yeah.
they're kind of disenfranchised from the rest of the community.
They really
Now,
are.
granted, they are directly disenfranchising another population. But, yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know, it's that constant argument of this one's enough.
And it's, I don't know, I think it's really hard to actually find a real racist. To be honest.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I've never found one. No, wait, I found one. In 34 years of looking,
Mm-hmm. I mean, I've known some real racists.
Really?
Yeah. And granted, the majority of them are older. But
And that's the other thing, too. It's kind of like the Iraq War. If we hadn't got involved, Iraq would be a completely different place right now. Because we were already winning a cultural war, right? Mm-hmm. Progressives are winning a cultural war on racism. And in fact, I know a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, but a good number of my younger black friends don't have a problem with the word. They don't have a problem with if a white guy says it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, but no white guy would ever. They're like, no, that's the thing. White guys don't even want to say it. We don't care about it. It's not a big word. And I find that, that was such a quick change. That was such a quick turnover. I mean, in the 60s, in the 70s, there was no A. And it was a feeling. And it was a dark feeling.
yeah.
It was only fucking 40 years ago. Mm-hmm. And already, who cares? In decades from now, how will that turn out? Now, and again, I can't speak for my shit. I got nothing. And in fact, as a Mexican, I don't give a shit if someone calls me a beaner or a spick. It does matter in what contents.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm sure that that's the same. But at one point, that word would really affect a lot of people, and no matter the content of what they were saying. But yeah, I'm not fantastic at race, and it's not my thing. I don't know. I don't really have a stance. I just think people should treat everyone like they treat themselves. Probably better than you treat yourself, because most people don't like themselves.
Yeah.
But the other thing I really suck at, I'm just awful at, and I don't know shit really about, is international politics.
Oh yeah, me neither.
Especially the Middle East.
Yeah.
I am. I know the bare minimum to, I understand enough of what's going on, but not, because the other big thing, and look, that wasn't a big story, but the big story of the day is, Melania Trump had surgery on her kidney.
Oh, okay.
I see you did a nice little 180.
Yeah.
You thought I was going Israel,
I thought
Palestine.
Sure you were going Israel, Palestine.
No. Did you hear about that, though?
No, I didn't. What happened?
Oh,
to her
really?
kidney?
They won't say.
Oh.
Which is weird.
She probably just had a kidney stone removed.
Well, see, that's what I was thinking. But apparently she's going to be in the hospital until Friday. That's not a kidney stone surgery.
I've had a kidney stone surgery that's put me in the hospital for almost a week.
Really?
Yeah. That's as if they have to actually manually go in there with a basket and
Oh,
take it out. Yeah.
A basket? You mean
That's what they call it.
that same
They
thing
call it a
when you're
basket.
frying a bunch of French fries?
Yeah.
Just stick that thing in your kidney there?
Stick it in there and pull it out.
Ugh. There's nothing that makes me and I don't even know why I'm worried about my dick, but that makes me cringe on my dick. You know what I mean? I'm like my wife now. Anyway. I wish I had a soundboard, because that would have totally. But anyway, no, they said she was having an embolic procedure done.
Don't know what that means.
Apparently, it's where they stop blood flow.
Mm.
And a lot of times that's to do with cysts and tumors and whatever. That's about all they said. That it was, yeah. But hopefully she does okay. I mean, I have no ill will towards her.
No, I don't either.
She's probably the biggest victim of Me Too right now, so.
Probably.
But yeah, no, Israel, Palestine.
At it again.
Well, kind of.
Didn't Israel do something? They captured...
Wow, you really are.
Some Palestinians.
We opened the U.S. Embassy in Jerusalem.
They did something else too. Something else came out about it today.
Well, I mean, they've been attacking Iran for a while.
This was Israel and Palestine. What was it?
I
have to remember.
Well, the big thing that is causing a lot of problems is the embassy itself and the capital. And if you look, and again, like I said, like there again, if anyone calls who knows more about this, I would fucking welcome it. 316-778-0529. From what my understanding is, and this has been the fight all along, is that basically whoever has America's support, whoever has the UN support, has control. And Israel has had that for quite a while. And Obama really wanted to put it into a two-state governed area, and they were not cool with that. Well, Netanyahu and Israel was not cool with that. That's why they hated Obama. And Israel has been pushing further and further. They keep expanding into Palestine's area. And essentially, this has led to a lot of protests. And on the other side, I think it's to this. I don't know. It's hard to explain because without, like, if I had a map, I could show you. But it's on the opposite side, or the lower side of where Golan Heights is, which is what was attacked by Iran. And sorry, I got a kitty grabbing my balls. I wish I wasn't. The fuck, let a cat down here. Anyway.
Yeah. No, I guess there's just been a lot of deaths. I didn't realize that. With the US
here's what
opening.
Netanyahu and the conservative Israel group has done. They set up chain guns, essentially, 50 cows, right on that border, and they are massive. I mean, there are 1,700 injuries.
Yeah, 1,700 injuries and at least 46 dead.
Actually, around 54
in Gaza.
In Gaza, yeah, that Gaza Strip. That's where they're all fighting over, and you know, it's God's land, and that's a big thing. And I'm a fucking atheist, and that's one of the other reasons why I am an atheist, because of shit like this, where I'm like, they're fighting, and I think Jerusalem, and it's godless land, if you ask me, like, because there again, if I don't want to get into a religious conversation, but if it was such a holy land, then I would think something would be done over it. Like, the blood of a bunch of people should not make it better. That to me sounds kind of like something a Satanist land would be.
Yeah.
You know, so that doesn't sound just, you know, on paper.
And that's supposedly the deadliest day since 2014.
Mm-hmm.
All because Trump decided to open an embassy.
Right. That's essentially it.
That's the thing. Nobody's blaming the right person here.
Well, and let's be honest. It's Netanyahu. He has that conservative base in Israel, which often sides with our conservative base in America. And the bigger picture too is that Netanyahu is up on obstruction of justice, bribery, fraud, money laundering. He's up on a lot of fucking counts that he doesn't want people to pay attention to. Yeah. He would much rather be the guy who had basically murdered 50-some people and injured 1,700. So we're not focusing on what, and really not us, but his people, on what his people are doing. And even if you are one of those, you know, conservative, I stand by Trump, I stand by this administration and what we're doing, understand the rest of the world is looking at this and they're going, ugh, I don't know. This does not look good. This doesn't seem, and you know, I mean, Putin had made a comment earlier today saying that, you know, he understands and supports Netanyahu's decision here. There again, doesn't sound like a very strong
massacre, because that's basically
what it is. Yeah, I mean, these people have
chain
rocks
guns pointing to crowds of people.
Mm-hmm. You cross this line, we shoot you. We mow you down. I don't know. That to me is just a scary aspect. I mean, it's like, okay, if we were to find a country who was taking children from their families and putting them in prisons and keeping them for how unspecified time, that country would be a horrible country, right?
Yeah.
We fucking hate them, kill them, whatever. Yeah, that's us. That's what we're doing to Mexican people right now. And there is no literature on like how they're placed in there, for how long they're placed in there, who they are. There is nothing on paper about any of these people. It just is this idea of, and I'm going back to the Netanyahu thing now. This idea of demonizing immigrants and people who are outside of your borders, this isolation, it's incredibly dangerous and incredibly vile for the globe as a community. And I don't know if you caught George W.'s speech over the weekend.
I did not.
It was amazing. He did his whole speech about isolationism.
Has George W. ever had an amazing speech?
No, that's my thing. No,
But he does now.
I was like, holy shit, this
Who
guy.
wrote this?
You know what? This guy wasn't half bad. He's got some. But he was talking about like it's so pandering to like the neo-Nazis and this neocon hate and this whole idea of of oneism that we're seeing globally, and it's very destructive and scary and dangerous. And just to say, hey, if you're not from here, boy,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Get out.
I'm gonna shoot you and take your kid.
Yeah.
That's really what it's kind of coming down to. I don't understand. Like, and on both sides of this whole thing, obviously I'm more married and committed to the Mexican situation, the Mexican immigrants who are getting their kids taken from them. It's just disgusting. It's a vile way to handle, immigration problems.
Yeah.
And who's gonna fucking register? Who's gonna put it out there that, hey, I want to become an American because, fuck, they're going to take my kid and kick me back out. And who knows what they're doing with the kids. That's the real, scary thing is, again, no documentation. We don't have proof of how long they've been here, what's happening to these children. You do with a 3-year-old inside a detention center for, 6 months to a year. What does that do to a kid?
Yeah.
And we're doing that in America. It's not the America I know.
No.
It's not the country that has been behind innovation and humanity and the melting pot that made this America. We would never take children. And that's what apparently we are doing now. I don't know. It's disgusting. And those are, the big things going on. And I fear that we'll get to a point where, hey, you know how we moved all the National Guard Reserve to the border? Well, we're breaking off the Dillon miniguns, and once we see a brown person, fire away. And I mean, am I illogical, or is there some base to that? Like,
I think there's some base there. I wouldn't say it's completely irrational with the way that things are going and progressing. I don't know how long, it would be until that, and I don't know how, I guess, Mexico would retaliate to that.
Well, and Vicente Fox, Mexico's ex-president, he released this whole, he has his own, I guess, group of people who do a lot of investigations and whatever. I don't know if he's getting ready to start a media organization or what, but he released some findings which Vox picked up on, not Fox, but Vox, and then they actually had been spreading this out. But there was in El Paso. Is El Paso on the?
It's pretty close.
Okay. And you'd think I'd know the name. I can't remember if it was El Paso or. Oh, it can't be El Dorado. I don't remember. But on one of the cities, anyway, that's bordering the wall, or where the wall should be, the ICE, or not the ICE, but the Border Patrol reported that there was 0 deaths from 2015 to 2016 of any Mexican that tried to come across the wall or actually tried to leave, which apparently that's worse than trying to come over here, is trying to leave. Didn't realize that. But Fox's team went in and actually found that there was 4,300 cases of Mexicans who'd been shot or killed near or around the border.
Yeah.
Many of them had bullet injuries in their back. So, yeah, I mean, on paper, and when you're talking about diplomacy and everything else, no, it doesn't sound... there's no way we would open fire on Mexican. That's like starting a war. But it's possible we already have.
Yeah.
It's possible that we already are doing that. And that, by the way, was 2015, 2016. That was still Obama's boys. That wasn't even what's going on now.
Yeah.
And granted, and Fox had said this. He said, like, look, I'm willing to say 70 to 80% was, other Mexicans. Or not even Mexicans, but Hondurans, other immigrants who are doing this, other refugees. It wasn't the Americans. But if it's one, that's enough to start a conflict. They need to be reporting what's happening. And because there's another thing that they don't have to legally put what happens. Even ICE members. An ICE member could just want to fuck with you, and they could ask you every day and stop you, make you late for work, or whatever they want to do to fuck with you. Ask you to see, I need to see your papers. I need to prove that you're an American. They don't have to report that they're doing that. They don't have to report. They can just do whatever the fuck they want. None of the immigration team has to have any sort of reports. And that's something that definitely needs to change. And I know, like Elizabeth Warren, who always seems to be just behind anything good. She is pushing for this. And there's actually a Republican in California. He's pushing for this law. I don't know if it'll happen, but it definitely should. It definitely should, because there's just for nothing else besides the fact that, like, I think we want to be informed of what's going on our borders as far as, like, fatalities.
Yeah.
That's kind of important.
I agree. I mean, I feel like you kind of want your, I guess, evidence or whatnot before. You would think that they would want something to build the wall,
100%.
Have some kind of
and honestly, that's a really good point. If there was 4,000 Mexican, or I need to stop saying Mexicans, but 4,000 immigrants or refugees or whatever you want to call them that were killed right outside of our borders by other refugees, honestly, that would turn someone like me to be like, you know what, maybe we should do something. Like, I don't know about a wall, but yeah.
Well, yeah, you would think. I don't know. Unless the data's not in their favor.
Yeah, I don't know. And, the other thing is, are they just dumping bodies too?
Yeah. Which
was another thing that Vicente Fox had brought up. He was like, we don't know is the problem.
Yeah, where are these bodies?
We just have no idea. They're finding a lot of them, but they don't know where they shot right there, where they shot in a cartel, and then they're like, hey, let's just throw them up, let's do it like, 15th century style and fling a dead body towards America. I don't know what the thinking is, and without at least our side reporting, hey, we shot a dude, we can't say, because it does seem weird that they have them in their back, a lot more in their back, which in Mexico's border patrol, they are required. And so that's where there was quite a few that Mexico had shot, but they had those numbers, and but they don't have them from us. So, is it? And the big thing, the reason why this became such a story is because that year, the 15 to 16, they reported 0. There was a border patrol agent who had, I think it was Snapchat Lived, him shooting a Mexican, and that came out on like Live Leak or one of those, and so obviously there's at least one. So the reportings on it need to get a lot more clerical. But I don't know. I don't understand. Where do you think this kind of, I'm angry at another side to the point where I want to kill them. Where do you think that comes from? Let's just go Israel-Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that. Like, why the hell? I mean,
well, I don't know if if you're gonna bring in Israel-Palestine, I'm gonna compare it to, and somebody might get pissed, but I'm gonna compare it to your Bloods and your Crips.
okay, yeah, good.
You know, there's people that are grown and grow up in this environment, and this is what you're taught, that this person is the enemy and whatnot. Maybe they don't hate them. You know, maybe they're just doing what they know is what they're supposed to be doing. You know, and maybe they do hate them, but that hate it's preached to them. You know, at a young age, all the way throughout. I mean, the Israelites and Palestinians have been fighting for how long? You know,
Right.
I mean, and that, I mean, that's what it kind of reminds me of. Is like I don't think
1,500 years or something like that.
I don't think it's like a race thing for them. I don't think they
No.
necessarily care. I think it's that they're enemies. They're sworn enemies. That's how they are.
Do you think so too? Because I've been told, you know, like some of my ideas for gun reform, you know, regulating, and if you have an unregistered weapon, it's 20 years mandatory minimum, and I think that would get a lot of the actual guns that need to come off the street, because that's where most gun violence is. But someone had come back at me and they said, yeah, but they want to go to prison.
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, it was you.
Yeah.
It was you, and that was one of those comments where I'm like, fuck, you know, like.
It wasn't necessarily that they want to, but they're not scared to. I mean, even just 20 years.
Right,
they're not
that's
scared.
a better term. Yeah, is they're not scared. It doesn't affect them the same way. As far as like the Middle East is concerned, I think it was yesterday I was listening to a guy who he's been fighting he's been fighting the Russians. That's how long he's been part of this group. Oh, and then the podcast that came out from Canada, the ex-ISIS member. Yeah, look into that. That was really good. But the thing that kept coming up, and it was that they're not scared to die. It doesn't affect them. They don't care. In fact, death is kind of a good thing because you, aside from just being fucking hot, which I'm sure anyone in our area now can tell you, like, good Lord, can you imagine sitting outside, like right now, like no fucking shade? Yeah. I mean, water. Oh, I need to get water. Okay, I'll be back in 3 days. Like, your job is getting water. Like, that's what you do every day. Fuck you if you want something to eat, because that's going to be a whole other venture. Yeah, death wouldn't, in their idea.
Well, even when you take all that away, death is glorified in a lot of, especially radicalists. The radicalist Muslim, Islamic. I got to say that right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Religion, because the whole how many virgins and
40
all that stuff,
40 virgins, all the riches. If you die in the name of Allah, and
and they don't believe in the same thing like Christians believe. If you kill yourself, you're going to hell. That's what it says in the Bible. And no matter what the situation is, no matter if it's purposeful and you take your life, that's where you're going. The other side, on the Islam side, it's like
it's a war.
Yeah, and if you kill yourself as a sacrifice, it's even more glory.
Yes. So, like, can we win that war? Because we're not willing to do that.
No.
And we don't have a replacement for it. There's no methadone for Islam. Like, there's no getting you off of that drug if that's something you really believe in.
And we're talking about the radicalists.
Yes, of course, 100%. Because there was another.
I just want to clarify that as many times as we can.
We need to, definitely. Because there's Indonesia. I don't know if you heard about that, but there's been like 4 families who have bombed themselves in Christian churches. Families, kids, dad will be strapped up with a bomb and run into a church, taking the family. Boom, we're all blowing up. Like, I don't know, man. That seems like a war we can't win. Because we just don't have, we're too, I don't know. Do we even get involved at that point? Does it seem like either way getting involved is just not something that's going to be good for us? Or should we get involved so we keep everything in check?
And when we get involved, we're going to die. That's just, unfortunately, I mean, that's what's happened, and that's war, you know. I don't know.
Well, how many great nations have never, or great empires, I should say, have never really made it out of, like, Afghanistan? There's that whole thing about how, like, Genghis Khan, like, there's a huge list of, like, great empires. Alexander, they never fully made it out of Afghanistan. That's where they end up dying.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, that's kind of creepy when you think about it, like, because those people don't give a shit. And, like, today, we're good. Who knows about tomorrow? Tomorrow I feel different. Tomorrow, God told me to do this. You know, God told me to, whatever. And that's a part of the scary thing with me is religion too. Is like, I feel like there's like this. I don't know. No one's keeping these people in check. Like, you know, and it's the same as the televangelists here. Like, why would you believe somebody if they said, "Hey, God's gonna bless you if you give me money. Don't worry about your cancer." Like, is it that strong? Like, I don't know. Does all common sense just go out the door because of, you know, some celestial being that doesn't that you have no real proof that you're only basing this off on faith? Like, I don't know that, and I know I'm fighting a hard because I don't want to get into a religious argument. I don't want to, but I'm just saying, like, you know.
Dude, beliefs are super strong.
It is.
Faith is super strong, no matter what it's in. And you have that perfect concoction of you know, certain things that aren't going so well for you. And, you know, you throw like, okay, say somebody that has cancer or something, they're going through it and it's miserable, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, if they can believe, I mean, medicine's not helping, you know. Modern medicine's not doing anything for me. It's not curing it, you know. So, yeah, it's more powerful to believe in something. And people prey on that just like everything else, you know.
Right.
And so, yeah, like your TV evangelists, and I don't even know if it's so much them. I think there's a certain population that really actually asks for money and whatnot. But, yeah, it's sickening. It is.
I think too. I just don't have. I've never like, I'm so cynical. I don't have faith in anything that strong. Like, no matter what it is.
Yeah.
I don't ever believe that anything is like 100% right all the time.
Yeah.
I think it was when in school, because I'm old enough, where they taught that the world was like 5,000 years old. You know, and like I was like, yeah, because I was a big fan of dinosaurs, and I was like, well, wait, but dinosaurs lived millions of years ago. How is that possible? And like right then there, I was like, everybody's going to lie to you. Like, nothing is fucking true.
Everybody
you
are
have
liars.
to do your own fucking research. Doesn't matter who it is. That's why, you know.
Okay,
like,
Will.
That's like when my wife's been gone all day. I'm like, I know you're fucking around.
Oh,
I don't give a shit what you say.
Oh, you're at work?
Let me see the paycheck. Let me call your boss. I need to do my own research.
Oh, jeez. No, but like I know we're, it's 6 already.
Yeah.
It just quickly wanted to mention that this is a sad story, but in our sense, of course it's sad because people died, but it's like in Australia. Did you see that?
No.
They had the worst mass shootings since they started their reform.
Yeah.
And it was a domestic family thing. I think there were 4 to 6 people that died or something.
I think, yeah.
And so I'm reading that, and of course it's sad, that
it
this
is, yeah.
happened and whatnot. But it's like the worst mass shooting
It had just
was
barely
a domestic disturbance.
barely
with less than
qualified
10
as a mass
people.
shooting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and people still preaching that what they're doing over there is not helping.
Something's working.
I mean, the stats. I mean, what are they? Are they making up the stats?
right.
Making up stats, hiding the bodies? It just, yeah.
Yeah, no.
So of course that was, super sad that
of course
prayers go out and whatnot. And,
anytime
but
someone
like
dies,
it's just
sad.
that's a mass shooting in one country. That's another headline here, man. Not even a headline sometimes.
We are like the mountain from Game of Thrones, like lifting weights, you know? And like, we're looking at Australia, who looks like me trying to lift weight, you know? And they just got one rep up, and they're, you consider that?
Yeah.
That's a fucking mass shooting? Ah, fuck you, pussy.
Yeah.
I'll show you what we can do.
Exactly.
Give me Chicago on an average weekend. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, wait till we turn it up at the schools. That's where...
Yeah.
It's fucking disgusting, though. Yeah,
it is. And you said that, like, Chicago, like, that's on an average weekend. Like, is five times that is. You know, it's like, that's crazy.
It really is. Incredibly sad. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for listening. I know it's a short show. We kind of stuck to a few points, and that was really all we were going to give you today, because time constraints. Everyone's got stuff to do. And Cody's not here. I got to be gay. You know. Yeah. A lot of stuff's happening. Anyway, though, we really definitely appreciate you listening. Wednesday we'll be back full strength, 5 to 7. Matt, I think will be. You're gonna be in?
More than likely.
Good. So we got Matt back on Wednesday. Cody will be here, and Friday we're gonna be off. We got stuff that we got to take care of as well. So kind of a short week, but give you what we can. We definitely urge you to check out Revolution Auto. Get yourself a good vehicle without having to break the bank, and go ahead and get it insured through Platinum PDR. Make sure it doesn't get any hail damage. We got some weather coming tonight, in fact. So even on your current vehicle, if you got some problems, give them a call. The hail's going to be nasty. That's all I can say is, up until summer, you're kind of, even then, hail can be nasty. Oh, yeah. But then you got the, ice, and you got issues with that. You're always going to fucking need some insurance on your vehicle. Just go with Platinum PDR. They're definitely a good option. And Will be back tomorrow, 7 to 9:30, the throwback, and Metal Meltdown Thursday, 7 to 9:30. I'm going to go ahead and just say the Assault probably won't be on.
And then we have the pub.
Law of averages. The pub. We will definitely
back.
be back on Sunday for the pub.
I don't know if I'll be there.
1 to 3. Yeah. Honestly, me too.
Yeah. I didn't, because I was sick, I didn't celebrate Mother's Day, so that's is coming.
Oh.
It got postponed. Postponed Mother's Day. That's the power I have.
I've got a lot of graduations going on Sunday, so that might be something.
Also, we didn't even get his name, but we got a caller today, and
I was expecting you to.
I realized
you probably
horrible.
have to ask. It's all right. It's your first time handling.
Yeah,
that. All right.
That was horrible. So I apologize, listener. Whoever
we definitely
you are,
appreciate you calling in. Call in more. That's what we need. We need a lot of that. And if you got anything to comment on us, the best way to reach me or to bring a story to my attention or whatever is Jay Dillon on Facebook, JC Show VIP at Twitter. Cody is Magnus Apex on Twitter, or just Cody Vogus on Facebook, which is honestly both of us use Facebook a lot more than anything else.
The Bunnies and Naps is my Twitter handle, which still hasn't received anything. Actually, I can't even say it because I haven't checked.
There's at least one thing, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah?
I think so.
Did you send me something?
I think I did. I can't remember if I did or not. But, if you're listening to us on TuneIn or Apple Radio or any of that, make sure to go check out the website, 106realrockradio.com. From there, or from Google Play or Apple Play, get the app, 106.6 The Blast. That is going to be your portal to all of this shit, man. You got the YouTube there, you got the links for the Facebook, you got a place where you can just comment directly to us. That makes it easier as well. The phone number's there, so you don't have to wait for us to say it. A lot more efficient through the app. Either way, though, we definitely appreciate you listening.
Yeah, if you don't want the app, go subscribe to YouTube so we can get that commenting going.
Yeah, we check those daily. Either way, we definitely appreciate you listening. Thanks a lot, guys. We love you.